Leonardo Romano's heels clicked sharply against the marble floor as he strode into his office. The late afternoon sun slanted through the blinds, casting long shadows across the room. He expected silence. He expected order. Instead he saw her. Isabella, his assistant, the one who had managed his chaotic empire with calm efficiency, was laughing, her head tilted back in the arms of a man Leonardo didn't recognize. Her hand rested on the stranger's chest. Her laughter rang too easily, too warmly, like a sound meant for someone else. Jealousy hit him like a punch to the chest. His fists clenched at his sides, nails biting into his palms. He had always trusted Isabella, until this moment. Who is he? His voice, low and controlled, cut through the laughter like a knife. Isabella startled, stepping back instinctively. Leo. It's not what it looks like. Leonardo's eyes narrowed. Not what it looks like? His gaze was ice, sharp enough to make the man flinch. Explain. She hesitated, biting her lip. He's someone from my past. That's all. That's all? His jaw tightened. You think I'll believe that? The stranger cleared his throat nervously, sensing the danger radiating from Leonardo. He offered a polite nod. Leonardo ignored him completely, focusing solely on Isabella. Leonardo's mind raced. Why didn't she tell me? Why was she hiding this? Rage and possessiveness collided in his chest, a dangerous mix he didn't often feel. Usually he was the one in control. Usually he didn't lose his temper. But seeing her in another man's arms, even if innocent, had ignited something primal in him. Something possessive, something that would not be denied. I'll deal with him later, Leonardo growled, his voice low, lethal. He turned to Isabella, his eyes darkening. Right now. I need the truth. And you will tell me everything. Her eyes widened. Fear, confusion, and something else flickered there, something he wanted to see more of. Desire. Leonardo took a step closer, the room suddenly feeling impossibly small. Because, he whispered, his voice a dangerous caress, if you don't, I won't forget this sight. And I never forget. And just like that, the line between jealousy and obsession had blurred, forever. Leonardo didn't sleep that night. The image of Isabella in another man's arms haunted him, looping in his mind like a cruel film. Every detail, her laugh, the tilt of her head, the warmth of her touch against him, was burned into his memory. By morning he knew he couldn't wait. He needed answers and he needed them now. He found Isabella in the small cafe near the office, trying to appear casual, stirring her coffee nervously. But she froze when she saw him. Her eyes widened, fear mixing with the faintest trace of something else, guilt? Isabella. His voice was calm, almost dangerously smooth. Sit. She obeyed instantly, her hands trembling slightly. Leonardo sat across from her, leaning forward, fingers steepled. His gaze pinned her in place, sharp and unyielding. Who is he? He asked again. Not a question. A demand. Isabella swallowed hard. Leo, he's just someone from my past. That's all. He means nothing. Leonardo's jaw tightened. Nothing? His voice dropped to a low growl. You think I won't notice how easily your body leaned into his? How your laughter lit up the room for him? Her face flushed, but she didn't look away. I didn't mean for you to see that. I wasn't. Wasn't what? Leonardo snapped, standing so quickly the chair scraped the floor. Wasn't yours to see? Or wasn't mine to claim? Isabella flinched. She knew the warning signs, the cold fury in his eyes, the edge in his voice that meant he was past reasoning. Leo, please. He silenced her with a finger to her lips. No more excuses. You will tell me everything. Who he is, why he's here, and why you didn't warn me. Her breath hitched, torn between fear and the undeniable pull she felt toward him. Leonardo's presence was suffocating and intoxicating all at once. She could feel his control, his rage, his obsession threading through every word, every look. I didn't think it mattered, she whispered finally. It's complicated, from my past. I didn't want to worry you. Leonardo's expression softened for the briefest moment, just enough for her to see the man behind the monster. Then it hardened again. Complicated doesn't matter, Isabella. You're mine. And anyone from your past, anyone who touches you, will regret it. The words weren't a threat. They were a promise. Leonardo Romano never ignored his instincts. And right now they were screaming. Within hours of leaving the cafe, he had men following the stranger. Cameras pulled footage. Names were dug up. Backgrounds unraveled. By nightfall, Leonardo stood in his private office, staring at a file laid open on his desk. Adrian Cole. Not just someone from Isabella's past, he was a problem. Adrian wasn't mafia, but he was close enough to be dangerous. A fixer. A man who sold secrets to the highest bidder. Worse, he had once disappeared for years after crossing the wrong people. And now he was back. Leonardo's jaw tightened. Why now? And more importantly, why her? He summoned Isabella. She entered hesitantly, her shoulders tense, eyes guarded. The moment she saw the file, her face drained of color. You lied, Leonardo said quietly. Her lips parted, but no words came. You said he meant nothing, he continued, stepping closer. Yet he's a man who trades in information. Men like that don't show up for nostalgia. Tears welled in her eyes. I didn't know he was back. I swear. Leonardo studied her face, searching for deception. He found fear instead. Real fear. He was my brother's friend, she whispered. Years ago. Before my brother died. Adrian helped me leave everything behind. I owed him, that's all. Debts like that never stay small, Leonardo said coldly. She shook her head. He hasn't asked for anything. Not yet, Leonardo replied. Silence fell between them, heavy, charged. Leonardo lifted her chin, forcing her to meet his gaze. His touch was firm, possessive, impossible to ignore. You belong in my world now, he said. Which means his presence puts you in danger. Her breath trembled. Then what happens? Leonardo leaned in, his voice low and lethal. I handle him. And you stop keeping secrets from me. His thumb brushed her jaw, slow, deliberate. Because the next time I see you in another man's arms, his eyes darkened. There won't be words. Only consequences. Isabella nodded, heart racing. And somewhere in the city, Adrian Cole smiled, knowing he had already stirred the monster he wanted. The next morning, Leonardo called Isabella into his office. The room smelled faintly of cigar smoke and expensive cologne, a warning she had long learned to respect. Sit, he commanded, motioning to the chair opposite his desk. Isabella obeyed, hands folded tightly in her lap. She felt the weight of his gaze, sharp and calculating. Every inch of her was under inspection, and she couldn't escape it. I've learned everything about him, Leonardo said, his voice low, deliberate. Adrian Cole isn't just a ghost from your past, he's trouble. And trouble follows those who show weakness. Isabella swallowed. Leo. I didn't ask him to come back. I didn't know he'd. Enough excuses. Leonardo stood, stepping closer until his presence pressed against her. You are mine now, Isabella. Anyone from your past who threatens you, or me, will regret it. Her pulse quickened at the possessiveness in his voice. Fear. Desire. Confusion. All mixed into one heady, dangerous cocktail. I can protect you, he continued, circling her like a predator. From him, from anyone else. But you need to stay close. I need to see you. Touch you. Control where you are, who you see. Isabella's breath hitched. Control me? Leonardo's lips curved into a dark, knowing smile. I don't ask, Isabella. I claim. Right now, I'm giving you a choice. Stay near me, safe from him and everything else that might harm you, or risk letting him touch what's mine. The threat was clear. The danger real. And yet, something inside her stirred. The pull she felt toward him was undeniable. She bit her lip. And if I stay, what happens then? Leonardo leaned in, so close that she could feel his heartbeat. Then you'll learn what it means to belong to me, he whispered, his tone equal parts promise and warning. And no one, absolutely no one, will ever take you from me. Her body trembled, but her mind screamed caution. Yet Leonardo's obsession, his intensity, was impossible to resist. Every word he spoke, every glance, every claim of ownership pressed into her skin, into her heart. Isabella realized then that staying close to him wasn't just about safety. It was about surrender, surrender to danger, to desire, to the man whose jealousy had already claimed her. And she wasn't sure she wanted to fight it. Leonardo became everywhere. Isabella noticed it immediately. His car waiting outside her apartment. His men shadowing her steps. His presence filling every room she entered, whether he was there or not. He had said he wanted her close. He hadn't mentioned how close. At the office, Leonardo kept her beside him. Meetings, calls, even private dinners meant only for trusted allies. His hand would rest at the small of her back, fingers firm, possessive, a silent warning to anyone watching. She felt it every time another man's eyes lingered too long. And Leonardo noticed everything. One afternoon, a business associate smiled at Isabella a second longer than necessary. Leonardo's grip tightened instantly. "Leave us," he said coldly once the man was gone. The door shut. Silence crashed down between them. "You enjoyed that?" Leonardo asked, stepping closer. "What?" Isabella's voice wavered. "I didn't do anything." "You smiled," he said. "You let him look at you." Her heart pounded. "I can't control where people look." Leonardo's jaw flexed. "I can." He backed her against the desk, hands braced on either side, trapping her. His eyes burned with something raw and dangerous. "You don't belong to the world anymore," he said softly. "You belong to me." Isabella's breath came shallow. Fear twisted with something far more treacherous, desire. "Leo, this is too much," she whispered. His thumb brushed her wrist, slow, deliberate. "Then tell me to stop." She opened her mouth. No words came. The silence answered for her. Leonardo exhaled, tension easing just enough for a smirk to touch his lips. "Good," he murmured. "Because I won't share what's mine." That night, Isabella lay awake, his words echoing in her mind. She told herself she should be terrified. Instead she felt claimed. And somewhere across the city, Adrian watched from the shadows, seeing the possessive way Leonardo guarded her, realizing the game had grown far more dangerous than he planned. Because now, Isabella wasn't just a woman caught between two men. She was a trigger. And jealousy had already pulled it. Isabella couldn't sleep. Adrian's message burned on her phone screen, unread but heavy. "We need to talk. You owe me." Her hands shook as she deleted it. She had promised Leonardo, no more secrets. But fear had a way of dragging the past back into the light. She didn't notice the car following her until it was too late. Leonardo stepped out before she could run. "Where were you going?" he asked calmly. Too calmly. Isabella froze. I just needed air." "Don't lie to me," he said, holding up his phone. Adrian's message glowed on the screen. Her world collapsed. "I didn't answer him," she whispered. "I swear." "But you didn't tell me either." The disappointment in his voice cut deeper than his anger. They returned to the penthouse in silence. Once inside, Leonardo closed the door slowly, deliberately. "You're going to tell me everything," he said. "Now." Isabella's knees weakened. She sank onto the couch. "My brother wasn't just killed," she said, tears spilling. "He was betrayed. Adrian helped him disappear once. But later he sold information. My brother died because of it." Leonardo's eyes darkened. "Adrian feels guilty," she continued. "He thinks protecting me will make up for it. But he wants something in return." "What?" Leonardo asked. She hesitated. "Access," she whispered. "To you. To your empire." Silence thundered. Leonardo turned away, jaw clenched. "So you're bait?" "No," Isabella cried. "I never agreed. I didn't want you dragged into this." Leonardo laughed softly, without humor. "Too late." He turned back, stepping close, towering over her. "You should have told me the moment he appeared," he said. "Now he thinks you're leverage." She sobbed. "I was afraid you'd push me away." Leonardo cupped her face, forcing her to look at him. "You don't get pushed away," he said darkly. "You get pulled deeper." His thumb wiped her tears. "And Adrian just declared war." Isabella realized then, this wasn't just jealousy anymore. It was bloodline deep. And the next move would decide who survived. Leonardo's phone rang before dawn. His men had tracked Adrian's movements all night. The man was making a play, approaching Isabella, testing the boundaries, daring Leonardo to act. Leonardo didn't wait. He arrived at her apartment without warning. The city was quiet, the streets empty, but every shadow felt like a threat. He moved like a predator, silent, precise, unstoppable. Isabella froze when he appeared at her door. "Leo, what?" He didn't answer. His eyes were storm-dark, scanning the room for danger. His hand went to her shoulder, firm and possessive. "Stay behind me," he ordered. Moments later, Adrian stepped through the alley outside, unaware Leonardo was already there. A subtle signal, a twitch from one of Leonardo's men, and the stranger's bravado faltered. "Isabella," Leonardo whispered, his voice low and lethal. "Go inside. Now." She obeyed instantly, her pulse racing, fear twisting with a thrill she couldn't explain. From the doorway, she watched Leonardo confront Adrian. Calm, controlled, but every movement radiated power. A slight step forward, a tilt of his head, enough to make Adrian hesitate. Leonardo's presence alone was a warning. Cross him and there would be consequences Adrian couldn't survive. "You shouldn't be here," Leonardo said smoothly. His voice held no anger, yet every word threatened blood. You touch her and you won't leave this city alive. Adrian swallowed hard, realizing this wasn't a bluff. Leonardo stepped closer, dangerously close, the air between them thick with tension. You'll leave, he continued. Or I'll make you leave, permanently. Adrian nodded quickly, backing away. Leonardo didn't blink, didn't relax until the man disappeared into the shadows. Then he turned to Isabella. She saw the man who protected her, who would do anything to claim what was his, ruthless, dominant, and terrifyingly real. He stepped into the apartment, closing the door behind him. His gaze locked on her, softening only slightly. You see now, he murmured, why you can never face him alone. Her knees weakened and she sank into his chest. The scent of leather, cologne, and danger filled her senses. You protect me, even from shadows? She whispered. Leonardo's lips brushed her hair. From shadows, from men, from the world, he said. Because you belong to me, Isabella. And no one threatens what's mine. For the first time she realized the depth of his obsession, and her own inability to resist it. The city lights blurred beyond the penthouse windows, but Isabella barely noticed them. All she could feel was Leonardo's presence, heavy, commanding, inescapable. He hadn't let go of her since the confrontation. You're shaking, he murmured, thumb tracing slow circles on her arm. I thought I was ready for your world, she whispered. But tonight, I saw it. And? His voice was dangerously gentle. And it terrified me. Leonardo tilted her chin up. Good. Fear keeps you alive. His honesty sent a shiver through her. He didn't soften the truth. He never pretended to be something he wasn't. You should walk away now, he said quietly. Before this becomes permanent. Isabella searched his eyes. Beneath the darkness was restraint, barely holding back something far more dangerous. If I leave, she asked, would you let me go? His jaw tightened. No. The words settled between them like a confession. Something inside her snapped, not fear but resistance. She stepped closer instead of back. Then stop pretending this is only about protection, she said. You want me. Leonardo exhaled sharply. His control fractured. In one swift motion he pulled her against him. Not rough, but final. Possessive. This is your last chance, he warned, voice low. Isabella's hands curled into his jacket. I'm not running. That was all it took. His lips met hers, slow at first, testing, then deeper, consuming. It wasn't rushed. It was deliberate. A claim sealed with heat and restraint. When he pulled back, his forehead rested against hers. From this moment on, he said, you don't belong to fear. You belong to me. Her heart pounded, but she didn't pull away. She nodded. Leonardo kissed her again, softer this time but no less intense. A promise rather than a threat. Outside, the city moved on, unaware that something dangerous had just solidified. Inside the penthouse, Isabella surrendered, not just to Leonardo but to the truth. There was no turning back now. The attack came at dawn. Leonardo felt it before it happened. The shift in the air, the wrong kind of silence. He was already moving when the first shot shattered the glass. Down, he roared. He covered Isabella with his body as alarms screamed through the penthouse. His men flooded the halls within seconds, gunfire echoing like thunder. Adrian had made his choice. Leonardo rose, eyes cold, lethal. Stay here, he ordered Isabella. Do not move. She grabbed his sleeve. Leo. I will come back, he said firmly. I promise. That was the last thing she heard before he disappeared into the smoke. Leonardo moved through the chaos like death itself. Come. Precise. Every step calculated. Adrian's men fell one by one, their ambition ending in blood. When Leonardo finally reached the rooftop, Adrian was there, cornered, shaking, desperate. She was never yours, Adrian spat. You don't own her. Leonardo didn't raise his voice. I protect what's mine. You call this protection? Adrian laughed. She'll never be free with you. Leonardo stepped closer, gun steady. Freedom is a lie men tell women they plan to abandon. Adrian lunged. The shot echoed across the city. When it was over, Leonardo stood alone, blood on his hands, not all of it his own. He felt nothing. No regret. Only certainty. Back inside, Isabella ran into his arms, sobbing with relief. He held her tightly, pressing his lips to her hair. It's finished, he murmured. No one will ever touch you again. She looked up at him, eyes wide. You killed for me. I would burn the world for you, he said simply. In that moment, Isabella understood the truth. Leonardo's love was dangerous. But it was absolute. And she chose it. The city was quiet, but the air in the penthouse burned with a heat all its own. Isabella sat on the edge of the couch, heart still racing from the morning's chaos. Leonardo stood across the room, eyes fixed on her. Every inch of him radiated power, dangerous, unrelenting, and utterly possessive. "You're safe," he said quietly. But his voice carried more than reassurance, it carried ownership. Isabella's lips trembled. "Leo, all of this, you risked everything for me." He stepped closer, bridging the distance between them. "Everything is yours," he said. "Because you're mine." The words weren't casual. They weren't soft. They were a claim sharp and absolute. He reached for her, fingers brushing her cheek before pulling her into a fierce, consuming kiss. Her hands pressed against his chest, feeling the strength, the heat, the undeniable dominance he wielded, not just over her but over everything in his world. "You understand?" he murmured against her lips, breaking the kiss only enough to meet her gaze. "No one touches what's mine. No past. No enemy. No choice you ever make alone." Isabella shivered, torn between fear and longing. I understand," she whispered. "And I—" "You don't speak," he interrupted softly, pressing his forehead to hers. "You feel. You belong. And you've always been mine." She nodded, surrendering fully to him, her protector, her obsession, her danger. Leonardo smiled, dark and knowing, and pulled her close again. This time the kiss was slower, softer, but no less claiming. Every touch, every caress was a warning. Once claimed, always his. Outside, the city thrummed with life, unaware that a war had been fought and won in shadows and blood. Inside, in the heart of the penthouse, a different battle ended, one of possession, passion, and irrevocable desire. Leonardo held Isabella like she was fragile and unbreakable at the same time. "From now on," he whispered, "you live in my world. And my world owns you." Isabella rested her head against his chest, listening to the steady beat of his heart, realizing that she didn't want to escape. She didn't want freedom. She wanted him. Completely. And with that, the dark, obsessive love between Mafia Boss and his assistant was sealed, forever.